Tania Orlova, thank you so much for joining us again. You were so helpful at the last event. We had lovely feedback about all your really insightful comments about the cultural differences. Uh, can you share a little bit about your experiences? What's your background? I know you've arrived in the UK relatively recently, but you have some expertise that can help us.
Yes, well, let me introduce myself a little bit. My name is Tanya, and I'm a refugee. I'm here at the moment in England for a little more than 2 months. And I'm here with my 8 years old son and with my mom, which makes a lot of difference for me, as I know that lots of women came just along with their kids, and that's really difficult for them because they need to find, if they want to find jobs. And as I see, like most of the people, most of the women of moms, they would love to find their jobs, and what they're facing is where to put their kids, and they are struggling to leave them alone sometimes. And I know that some of them are doing that. That's more or less fine in Ukraine. And now, as I see, now they're trying to get together. So maybe one of the moms could, look after 3 or 4 kids, and the rest of moms could have their jobs. So that's really a very important issue, which I almost not facing because I'm really like lucky enough to have my mom to help me with all of these things. Yeah. So, and before coming here, I was in 3 other countries. I was moving a lot, and that was also now I'll talk about it from like a psychologist from mental health point, because I found myself in a situation when I feel like I'm losing my confidence by having no ground, having no stability, having no understanding about my future, being in limbo all the time. I would find out that I'm kind of losing this, even though in Ukraine, I'm a businesswoman. I was running my own business for years, and I was involved in mental health. I was delivering seminars, so I had a very great life that I think many people can look and say, wow, that's really life I want to have too. Yeah. So but even though like I would feel I had lots of confidence in my background. Really, I'm very confident. I had my business. I had to struggle with lots of situations in my life, and that was fine. Now I would find myself like lost, and that's what I see when I'm talking to women from Ukraine. So, and with this background, they are here now. They are in a new place, and when they start, they have to face this red tape things, the filling like thousands of papers, which is really kind of a little strange for us, to tell the truth, because we have our like sorry has to say it, but we have our idea, we have our like documents online. We can do so many things now online, so that's a really little strange sometimes. You ask to, is it possible to fill it in online, but it's not. So yeah, it's time consuming. Look, me, I can speak English, I understand these things, and I was filling in all these forms for me, for my son, for my mom, really lots of time. Then if you look from perspective of people that don't have this privilege of speaking English, just because maybe they are speaking German, Spanish, whatever, doesn't matter, uh, they have to ask all the time people to help them. And it wouldn't add anything to your confidence, because you are like in this position of asking people all the time, could you please help again? And they understand that's a lot of work, and they then just the next step, they could be more shy to ask about something, and it's not, and this shyness, yeah, this lack of confidence, it's not what you want when you are looking for a job. And that's how I see, for example, some ladies that I'm talking with, like hundreds of Ukrainians, some of them really with a great education, uh, with great experience, just because they don't have good English or have a very little English, they are happy to get like jobs like cleaning somewhere. I mean, any job is fine, and it's good, it's fine to start with anything, I believe. At the same time, I think that we have to keep in mind this lack of confidence. And for example, for employers, when you have a Ukrainian person, just keep it in mind. If you feel, because I had I had to make lots of interviews myself in Ukraine, and I didn't have interviews, like I wasn't interviewing for like years, for more than 20 years, I guess. Yeah, so just keep it in mind that if you feel that this person is not kind of, really presenting well, it might be just a matter of weeks. Yeah, as soon as this person would get a job and feel more like confident, because sorry, but money brings confidence to people. That's a fact, not just alone, of course, with lots of other things,
Yes.
but yeah, that helps.
Tanya,
So,
that's so helpful. I think your insights here, just to bring them out and then ask you a couple of questions. So one is this loss of identity, that you used to be a businesswoman, or maybe you were a teacher, or maybe you're a professional, and you can't do that anymore. And so you've lost something about who you are. Um,
absolutely. Yeah.
but you've also lost a whole bunch of relationships. Often you're separated from maybe your husband or your partner or your father or your brother. So there's a whole bunch of bereavement going on. And then linked to that is the loss of independence. And that can get rid of your confidence. That's a lot to deal with. But you made an really interesting insight that money brings independence and confidence, and that makes sense. Um, but for someone with your business experience, to take a low-paid job like a cleaner or to work in a coffee shop, um, is that going to be good for people's mental health? Because it gives them some independence, but it's also so different from what they were doing. Will it add to their lack of confidence, or will the opportunity to be out of the house and speaking English and meeting people, will that on balance be better for people, do you think, to take any job? Or should people wait until they feel confident or their English is better, and then they go for a similar job to they used to do in Ukraine? What's your advice?
Well, Trish, I believe that, of course, every situation is different. At the same time, I believe that like if a person feels that it's something she or he wouldn't like to do, like really, like it feels like a knot in your inside of you, then don't do that. Then really take this time to learn English, to make it as good as possible. Take this time to make connections, to understand the situation, to have enough resources to find something. If you feel that it's fine with you, if you feel and you have this like on the back of your mind that that's just temporarily, that's just to pick up some English, and that's just to have a better financial situation, and you can just grab like a part-time job. and that would help you financially, that would help you to pick up your English, and that would give you enough time for searching for better option. And at the same time, what I want to say, um, always, because now what we are doing, what Ukrainians are doing, they are kind of having their values. They are trying to understand what is their values here, and their understanding is much lower than it's like kind of really is. Well, it's maybe stupid to say value about people, but I hope you understand me. How they feel themselves, yeah, and what they can do, what can they offer as professionals, right? So I try always to go to a little higher than you feel. Grab these sellers, I mean, from these job boards, apply for jobs that are, you think maybe it's, well, you are not really good, but apply for them. What if I can share my experience when I was reading all these job boards, all these descriptions? I was thinking, oh my God, they want me like to be, I don't know, like a goddess, to get to know everything, like, and then and then I was happy to be explained that that's fine. They're using this just to use this, words, just to find the right person. That's okay if you couldn't do like 20% or even 30% of their asking. That's fine. So what you have to keep in mind is just to really try to understand these words they're using for the job you're applying, and put as much as possible to your CV. And yeah, try to understand how they are doing it, because we do it a different way. Even though I had to struggle. I mean, I had this challenge to create my CV from the scratch. I didn't have one. I had to try to remember what I was doing, where I was studying, what projects I was doing, years, etc. Yeah, that was a little, yeah, challenging for me, to tell the truth.
That's
So
really helpful. Thank you,
yeah,
Tanya. You're right that when we're coming from a different culture, you're reading the words in the job description and they're so high, they're so aspirational. No one in the UK really thinks they're going to fulfill all of those things. We filter it a little bit. So, yeah, that's really good advice about not being put off. I think that's great. We're going to do some follow up work around CVs and interview skills at a later date. But can I just ask you another question that people have been raising to me? If you've come to the UK with children, and it's a big deal that children have, again, they've had to move, they're learning the language, they're grieving, maybe they may have seen some terrible things in Ukraine. So some people are wrestling, like, should I go to work or should I focus on helping my children settle in? Again, I know you're right, every situation is different, but what wisdom or guidance would you give mums that are wondering, that they're torn between wanting to do that independence, looking after their own mental health, and investing in the children who are coping with trauma? That must be a very difficult thing to work out.
well, Krish, first of all, I have to tell you that that's something like moms have all the time. They're always struggling that they're not good enough. They're always struggling that they're not giving enough time to their kids. Even if they don't work, they always would think they didn't give enough to their kids. So again, you have to keep it in mind, and like you have to take this like middle way, so to say, yeah, not to be extreme from both sides, not to go and like work 24 hours because you need this independence, financial independence, etc. I mean, you're not in the country that will let you, I don't know, be really homeless, no. But at the same time, if you like, okay, if your kid requires this your attention, your time, then you understand it. But at the same time, I believe you always can arrange it so that your kids would be like a part of this culture, communicate with other kids, and that might be much better than just sitting with you, even though if you like think differently. Yeah, so yeah, so I think that something in the middle, you have always tried to be there.
That's really helpful. Thank you. And again, I guess each child and each mother, and it is mainly mothers and children. We're not being gender specific about this for any reason except that it's women and children that have mainly come to the UK. But each situation will be different, and
Yes,
therefore, I guess we just take it case by case.
of course.
And
Yeah.
maybe for some families, you can start off working, and then if it isn't working out, then you just have another look and see whether you can redress the balance. Are there any other bits of wisdom that you might have for our listeners?
Well, I think that, uh, we have this in mind like, oh my God, if I start this job and then maybe I don't like it, and then I will try to find something else, then that's really bad for my reputation. But no, nothing is bad for your reputation. If you found something, you understand it's temporarily, and if you found something better, that's fine. I mean, sorry, but employers would do the same, right? If they need somebody who would perform better, they would try to find this person, right? So that's fine. Just keep it in mind. That's fine for you to find something to work there, because really Ukrainians in this regard, they're very responsible, so to say. Yeah.
Yes, you're exactly right. It's the same when it comes to taking a job that's maybe a lower grade than your normal level. You shouldn't worry about that in your work history because you've had to leave your home in the middle of a war. And so
Yes.
most employers would be understanding about this. So I think you're exactly right. And it's okay to try things out and see how you go. Tanya, thank you so much. Your wisdom and your grace are just so evident in this conversation. It's been really nice to spend some time with you. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me, Krish. Thank you.